So now we're going to look at Juz 13, so make sure to read this Juz today. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. So the 13th Juz begins at verse 53 of Surah Yusuf and contains all of Surah Al-Rad, the thunder, and ends with Surah Ibrahim. A common theme that runs from Surah Yunus to Surah Al-Hijr is the greatness of the Quran itself. In fact, every one of these surahs begins with verses describing the greatness of the Quran, subhanallah, as a reminder to us, the reader, to take it seriously and reflect upon it. So the Juz begins around a major turning point in the life of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. His story in the previous Juz focused on his trials. At this point, he begins to work for the king and eventually rises to a position of authority in the kingdom. It is at this stage that we see an amazing character of Prophet Yaqub, Jacob, and Yusuf. Yaqub shows us the most beautiful example of optimism and patience, whilst Yusuf shows us an incredible example of generosity and forgiveness. These are four powerful characteristics that their forefather Ibrahim alayhi salam was known for, and we see all of these characteristics in this surah. So the surah ends with the family reunited and all grudges forgiven. Yaqub is not satisfied to learn that his son Yusuf is still alive. He is only satisfied when he learns that he's still a believer. The true passing of any test in life is to remain firm on the true belief throughout the test. We must not drift away. We must not fall into sin. We must seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help, call out with his beautiful names and attributes that, represent, the sort of test you're facing, and us seeking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help, as he is the only one that can help you through this test, remaining patient and staying steadfast upon your prayers. So Yusuf himself asks Allah to allow him to die a believer, fulfilling the supplication of his forefathers. In Surah Al-Baqarah, we learn that Ibrahim and Yaqub both made dua that their progeny would die upon Islam. Yusuf was one of many answers to that dua. So a common theme that runs throughout this juz is the importance of patience and gratitude. Surah Yusuf gives us the example of beautiful patience in Yaqub. Surah Al-Rad reminds us that paradise is earned through patience. Peace be upon you because you endured patiently. How excellent is the final hour. So this is chapter 13 verse 24 that I've just said to you. Both Surah Al-Rad and Surah Ibrahim remind us of the crucial importance of gratitude in being able to earn the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the next verse is verse 28 of chapter 13. Those who believe and whose hearts find comfort in the remembrance of Allah, surely it is in the remembrance of Allah that hearts find comfort, subhanallah. The next verse is verse 7 of chapter 14. And when your Lord proclaimed, if you give thanks, I will grant you increase, but if you are ungrateful, my punishment is severe. The next verse is verse 24 to 26 of chapter 14. Do you not see how Allah presents a parable, which means an example? A good word is like a good tree. Its roots is firm, and its branches are in the sky. It yields its fruits every season by the will of its Lord. Allah presents the parables, which means examples, to the people so that they may reflect. And the parable of a bad word is that of a bad tree. It is uprooted from the ground. It has no stability. So this is the theme that runs throughout this juz. The two paths to paradise are patience and gratitude. Remember these two words, patience and gratitude. We need to be patient with the trials of life, knowing that victory is from Allah and He does not test us beyond what we can bear, beyond our capabilities. We need to be grateful for every blessing in our lives. If we do so, Allah will increase our blessings in both worlds. These two qualities can happen at the same time. At almost any time in our lives, there are two trials to be patient with and blessings to be grateful for. Victory is achieved by constantly moving between the two states depending on the test of the day. No matter how difficult the trials of life. Know that victory is from Allah, and know that, inevitably, it's happening for a reason, and you will get through this test. Surah Al-Ra'd is named after the thunder, as the surah reminds us that even what we perceive as inanimate are creations of Allah that praise Him in ways that we cannot imagine. The thunder praises His glory, subhanallah, and so do the angels in awe of Him. And He sends the thunderbolts, striking with them whoever He wills. Yet they argue about Allah while He is tremendous in might. This is verse 13 of chapter 13. So I'm going to leave you here. Fi amanillah wa sallallahu wa barak ala nabina Muhammad astaghfirullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.